How to Excel at Work. Proven Strategies for Achieving Superior Work Performance. Written by Bili Odum. Narrated by Russell Newton. You are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. Our perceptions have to do with what our minds take in and believe. This determines our attitudes, beliefs, and consequently, the decisions we make. It follows that negative attitudes and actions that many workers exhibit in the workplace, such as deliberate late-coming, frequent absence from work, absolute neglect of work in pursuit of private matters, poor customer service or treatment, shoddy performance, etc., occur as a result of obstructive misconceptions about their jobs. For example, the worker who sees his assignment of interacting with customers as boring and monotonous would certainly not treat such customers with warmth and enthusiasm. The worker eventually misses out on the vast opportunities open to him when interacting with different kinds of people from different geographic and socioeconomic backgrounds. This part shall identify such common negative career perceptions which produce negative actions, and which in turn are capable of hurting your career. But before doing this, the following explanations are necessary. A career, also called vocation, is a steady, uninterrupted activity. A job, on the other hand, is a definite piece of work carried out for a fixed price. While work means physical or mental effort exercised in doing or making something. From the explanation, we can conclude that much of our productive years are spent doing a steady, uninterrupted, definite activity, which involves physical or mental exertion undertaken for a fixed price. Price, in this context, means remuneration. You would observe from these definitions that your career is a sort of give and take activity involving the expensive effort and the application of your skills doing a particular thing in return for some benefits commensurate with what was put in or what was produced. It is important that this is clearly understood in order to avoid having destructive misconceptions about your work and career. Also note that since your involvement in a career takes a considerable part of your life, then your quest for career success should be viewed as a lifelong activity, which does not terminate until you end your career. Here are some very common and perilous misconceptions you should strive to avoid. Misconception number 1, I wish I had an ideal job. If an ideal job is defined as one which offers the holder a very fat salary and other mouth-watering benefits to go with it, but hardly any challenge, stress, or hazards, then such jobs in our contemporary society simply do not exist. No rational employer of labor would employ you just to offer benefits without expecting results that can only be achieved with effort and discipline. I had the blues because I had no shoes, until upon the street I met a man who had no feet. An employer of labor regards you as an input to his business, and, like every other input, he seeks to maximize his output from your efforts, even if it means stretching you to the limit. On the other hand, the employer is expected to compensate you for your application of skill and effort. Therefore, what really exists are high-paying jobs which require high level of skills and effort, whether mental or physical. Most workers do not know this. Most workers, while believing strongly that they would one day stumble upon this ideal job, go about executing their present jobs without zeal. The more ambitious but equally ignorant ones, especially the young, frequently change jobs, hoping to stumble upon that ideal job. But after a prolonged search and years of waiting without any results, their hopes are dimmed, and soon a feeling of despair sets in, which eventually leads to diminishing productivity. However, what is closest to an ideal job and which we encourage you to strive for is a good job. A good job is one that offers the holder, apart from material and financial benefits, intellectual growth, psychological satisfaction, prospects of career growth, and, of course, its own appreciable share of risks and challenges. Most importantly, The financial reward that a good job offers is directly related to the output or performance of the worker, such that you can rightly expect a raise when you increase your output or performance. Do not be fooled. All jobs have merits and demerits. Your responsibility is to ensure that you maximize the benefits from the merits of your job. In order to succeed, you must know what you are doing, like what you are doing, and believe in what you're doing. Misconception number 2, I'm satisfied with my present position. Here's another big mistake made most often by senior or top-level workers, especially in the public sector and large corporate bodies. These set of people, once employed, are easily carried away by the current benefits that they fail to see the vast, untapped, invaluable career opportunities ahead of them. To them, acquiring the skills and knowledge to meet the demands of higher levels of responsibility is an indication of greed and overambitiousness. This should not be so. 2 men looked out of prison bars. One saw the mud, the other saw stars. Firstly, acquiring additional professional skills and knowledge through training, formal and informal, is an effective career defensive strategy to protect you from being unseated from your position by someone from a lower level or an applicant who has acquired the contemporary business skills required for your position. Experience in this case is a weapon whose potency depends largely on the way it is applied. It only works well for those who have, in addition, acquired the required skills for their position. If, on the other hand, you do not acquire these contemporary skills, your competitors who have done so stand a better chance of knocking you off that position, irrespective of the level of experience you claim to have on your side. We also recommend that you adopt an offensive strategy to work. Anticipate organizational changes and totally prepare yourself for reckoning into any new, higher, or emerging position. This you can do by acquiring beforehand new relevant skills you think might be needed for the position that you anticipate would emerge. For example, a worker with the State Ministry of Health that is about to commit huge funds into a healthcare program to cover the whole state should anticipate the creation of the job of Divisional Health Officer to coordinate the activities of each new health center in the state. He should also work towards being qualified and appointed to take up the emerging position. Other career offensive strategies are exhaustively treated in succeeding sections of this book. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Do not fold your hands and cross your legs and be satisfied with your present position. Aim higher. Prepare for the next level. Prepare for the top. There's always another higher level to aim for. Remember what they say. If something is not growing, it's probably dead. Grow. Misconception number 3. My job was a big favor. This is another mistake made by many, especially junior staff of most large organizations. Admitted, some employers were highly instrumental to the present employment of their employees, and were it not for their assistance, the employee may still be unemployed. As a result of this, the employee feels an extreme sense of gratitude. This extreme feeling of gratitude has serious consequences. Firstly, the employee might begin to take the job for granted with the thinking that if the employer was nice enough to put him on the job, the employer should equally be nice enough not to take him off the job, irrespective of the employee's performance on the job. Another disastrous consequence could be a total loss of confidence or self-pride, brought about by the thinking that for the great favor the employer has done for the employee, he, the employee, will remain like a slave in the workplace, highly indebted to the employer for his magnanimous gesture. In such a situation, it is strongly probable that the employee would be satisfied with anything less than satisfactory. This ultimately lowers performance and eventually makes the employee unqualified to even remain in the current position. But the truth is that a job is a contract between a worker and his employer, and the terms are quite simple and fundamental. The employee expends effort and skill to execute a particular assignment for or on behalf of the employer, while in return, the employer offers remuneration for work done. No matter the circumstances that led to your getting the job, they do not, in any way, disqualify you from reaping the benefits of the employer-employee contract, while at the same time assuming its responsibilities. My mother said to me, "If you become a soldier, you'll be a general. If you become a monk, you'll end up as the Pope." Instead, I became a painter and wound up as Picasso. Misconception number 4. Career success is by chance. Career success today, in our contemporary society, is certainly not a game of chance. Except for some situations in large corporate bodies where politicking is involved, to advance in the workplace, you have to work efficiently and effectively. To achieve success in the workplace requires that you do those things that would distinguish you and put you ahead of others for that raise or that promotion or anything else that you desire from your career. Luck is a matter of preparation meeting opportunity. Many workers believe that career advancement or accomplishment comes only through some form of divine action or by a stroke of good fortune. As such, they willingly place their careers on the doorsteps of chance and do nothing significant. Workers who have this attitude either remain static in the workplace or end up being pushed out. Success-oriented workers know that, apart from divine support, career success requires careful planning and hard work. These people know that the environment is not static. They know that as changes occur, they affect their organizations, which can only survive by adapting to these environmental changes. In the process of adapting to changes, new opportunities and challenges arise, and openings for tackling the challenges and seizing the opportunities would be created. Such people present themselves as part of the solution by acquiring the necessary skills for such positions, rather than sit back and wait for chance, which actually makes them part of the problem. Mrs. G.A. Belogan is a director of education with the Teaching Service Commission, Lagos State, whose experience in the education sector spans 29 years. She defines career success as the accomplishment of set goals, which yield dividends in terms of status, getting to the peak of one's career, and reaping both the material and monetary rewards. According to Mr. Henry Larayatan, who holds an MBA and works as an investment executive in an investment and asset management firm, one achieves career success when one makes the most of the opportunities for advancement and self-actualization that one's career offers. Mrs. Afi E. Ben-Edet, a medical doctor and pediatric registrar with a tertiary medical institution, views career success as the attainment of the highest possible position in one's chosen field, coupled with successful interpersonal relationships with one's colleagues and clients, as well as personal satisfaction with one's day-to-day work activities. She believes that any employee desiring to achieve career success should have a resolute ambition to excel, a willingness to learn at any stage and from anyone, excellent interpersonal skills, and the fear of God. I know of no more encouraging fact that the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life by conscious endeavor. This has been How to Excel at Work, Proven Strategies for Achieving Superior Work Performance. Written by Bili Odum, narrated by Russell Newton. Copyright 2008 by Bili A. Odum and Professional Achievers Network. Production copyright by Bili A. Odum and Professional Achievers Network.